Yeah, sure. So okay.
Ash will go straight after you. So.
Okay, wonderful, great. We all set?
1 second. Right. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Well, firstly, thank you so much for coming down to the SCG. It's amazing to be back here so soon after an incredible Border Gavaskar series, with the women's Ashes starting on Sunday at North Sydney Oval. So I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome the England squad, captained by Heather Knight, and it's great here to have England players Tammy Beaumont, Lauren Bell, as well as our very own Ash Gardner and Phoebe Litchfield. It's already been an absolutely phenomenal summer, record crowds for the men's test, for the WBBL, for the BBL, and this series is really going to keep the momentum going. The Women's Ashes is one of the greatest rivalries in world cricket, incredible history, wonderful calibre of players, and I checked this morning on the website, the Australia and England are ranked 1 and 2 in both T20 cricket and ODI cricket. So following a magnificent series last year in the UK, this is going to be an absolutely another incredible series. We're very proud of our investment in women's cricket. I think we've seen the level of professionalism increase significantly over recent years, and it's wonderful to see so many emerging stars such as Phoebe, who's with us here today. Coincidentally, it's 90 years since the first Women's Ashes Test match, back in 34-35. It's been 25 series overall. Australia have won 9, England have won 6, and there have been 9 drawn series. In 2013, we introduced the multi-format series, which I think has added a really great new dimension, and it presents a really huge challenge for both sides in all formats of the game. We're absolutely thrilled to be playing in major stadiums, here at the SCG, the Adelaide Oval, Manuka Oval, Bellerive Oval in Tassie, and the series culminates in the first ever day-night test at the MCG from 30th of January to the 2nd of February, which is going to be just an amazing celebration of cricket, of cricket's leadership in equality through sport. There's going to be fantastic entertainment around the game, so it's going to be just a really wonderful festival, and just encourage everyone, as we saw with the Border Gavaskar, jump online and show your support for these two exceptional teams. So it's now my great pleasure to introduce Ash Gardner. Thank you.
Guys, we'll just try here with Ash, and then if it rains too much, we can relocate and just give it a go. You want to start off?
Ash, did it feel a little bit like job and finished in England in 2023, having drawn that on points, even though you retained the Ashes?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we go into any tour wanting to draw. Certainly the way that we started through the Test match, winning the first T20, we were in the box seat and then just got outplayed in the white ball series, and certainly going forward we've spoken a lot about what we can do better, coming up against probably our fiercest rivals and a team that we have a lot of great competition against. Certainly the white ball series is going to be a big focus for us, but even just looking at that Test match to finish, hopefully the Ashes is in a balancing spot by that point, and then we can really fight it out to win that Test match and then hopefully come away with the Ashes. It's probably just winning those small moments. That sounds really cliche, but I think teams that play in the white ball format really well, they do the 1%ers really right, and they know how to get out of those tough positions. I know with the ball, looking back in England, we probably didn't execute well enough, but we've certainly done a lot of talking. We've, I guess, got some players that are playing different roles at the moment with the ball in hands, but then I think with the bat as well, it's making sure that we're taking the game on and we're not kind of worrying about the consequences. And I think just looking back more recently at the ODIs that we've just played, I certainly think we did that. Different people have stood up in different times, and it's super exciting to see where this team can be.
Yeah, on paper, those one-day series last month seemed pretty lopsided, but Australia did have to get out of tricky positions. How much confidence do you take from that?
Yeah, heaps, and certainly the top four throughout probably the first series would have loved to have spent heaps of time out in the middle, and then we got to see what Annabelle Sutherland's so good at, and I guess pulling us out of some tricky positions, and even someone like Tylee McGrath, who was batting in a different position, found herself having plenty of time in the middle and scoring some really important runs as well. So I think from a batting point of view, I guess our top 8 want to spend as much time out in the middle as possible, but certainly for, I guess, our top order, they want to get us off to a really good start, and then players like myself through the middle can kind of just play with a bit more freedom.
Do you know how the knee is?
I think it's good. She's obviously playing in the GG's match to, I guess, prove her fitness and just to make sure that she's where she wants to be. But yeah, she obviously showed through that New Zealand series what she's capable of, what we've kind of missed at the top of the order sometimes when she's not there. She really just takes that power play on, and certainly from her leadership perspective as well, she's such a experienced head out on the field, and in those tough moments, she's certainly someone that steps up.
In terms of the GG's game, I mean, she's aiming to keep, I believe, maybe not for all of it, but at least for part of it. But I mean, how is that a risk on the eve of such a big series to do something that is going to test, isn't it?
I mean, if she wants to keep throughout our series, no. She's kept her whole career, so I don't see it necessarily being a risk, but it's more so probably just peace of mind for her, peace of mind for our medical staff that she can do it. We obviously have 7 games throughout the Ashes series, and potentially her keeping in the test match is going to be literally the biggest test for her. So hopefully she gets through the GG's match fine, and then has some confidence coming into the Ashes series, which is so important for us.
Peace of mind too, got depth there, I guess. It's already shown that she can do it more than ably.
Yeah, exactly right. Moons is someone that's a very good fill-in. Not that she's by any means a fill-in, but yeah, we obviously know that if Midge isn't right, we do have someone that's pretty good to step up behind the stumps.
Speak about how different you guys are playing, or you guys are playing out compared to, say, in England last year, 2023. How does that change, man? How much was spoken about out of that Ashes about sort of changing or revolutionising the way you guys play your white ball cricket? There's probably been more chat towards the T20 stuff, which we've obviously played a lot more recently. I think ODI cricket's one of the formats that we do play really well, and it's probably just finding where people's roles are and I guess the most suitable spot for them. And we had a bit of a change around in our batting order, obviously seeing Belsey go up to 5 and then T-Mac down to 7, and I think it just really extends our order with players in the best spot possible. And I think our bowlers have done such a good job over the last couple of years, and there's been a lot of talk of obviously icing those games from all 3 perspectives, but I think it's just, I guess, being really fearless in the way that we approach the game, especially in ODI cricket. It's more of a traditional form of cricket, but I think if we all play our roles really well, which I think we have been more recently, we'll be in pretty good stead going forward. And just looking at this series, like, it's a pretty helter-skelter. There's barely a day when you start, when you finish. Like, is that going to make, I know, momentum a big deal, like hard to turn things around if the team loses the first 1 or 2 games sort of thing? And I guess there's limited training opportunities, limited chances to change things the way you play as well.
Yeah, it is a very tight schedule. We've obviously got so much cricket to be played for the rest of the summer as well. So I guess for us it's being confident in what we've done more recently in the 2 ODI series that we've just played, playing ODIs first against England, and I think just taking confidence out of that. There certainly isn't much time to muck around, and there isn't a lot of time to train, but like I said, I think it's just trusting what you've done in the past, knowing that if we don't get off to the start that we would like, that we can turn it around pretty quickly. We've got some fantastic players within our lineup, and certainly people that can perform under pressure, which is, I think, the best thing about our side is when our backs are up against the wall, we certainly try and find a way to win those small moments. But yeah, fingers crossed we get off to the most ideal start we can.
How have you kind of balanced the focus between the formats for this series? I know there was a lot of talk in 2023 about getting the red ball stuff right, that kind of then reflecting on maybe focusing too much, but the test coming last this time, has that changed much?
Not really, to be honest. Like, it's a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, we played that series just before Christmas, and we've actually had a break for the last couple of weeks, so we haven't actually spent time together as a group, which I think for this group it's probably necessary. A bit of time to refresh, and and just to go again, basically. But there hasn't been a lot of chat around the different formats. I think as a unit, each individual is going to have different processes going into each different format, but I know personally for myself, my role doesn't really change. In each format, I've either got more balls or less balls to kind of have an impact, and then with the ball, it's just trying to find that consistency really early. So there certainly hasn't been too many conversations around the different formats, but I know as a unit, individuals are going to be thinking about that differently.
And have you had much experience with the pink ball, like playing with it at different levels?
I've played one pink ball test on the Gold Coast a few years ago now, and also had a little bit of experience when we played that North Sydney day-night test in 2017. So a little bit of experience, but I don't think it's going to be too different. It's obviously going to do a little bit more early from more reports, obviously watching the men play. With the new ball, it certainly does quite a bit through those first probably 10 to 15 overs. So I think as a batting unit, it's kind of just getting through that tough period and then being able to capitalise when the ball gets a little bit older.
Yeah, just, obviously the fact you guys play over the next few weeks is a good thing. It's through the school holiday period and whatnot, but this is the last summer in which you guys will play any international cricket in Australia in the school holiday period. Is that a concern? Would you, I mean, obviously there's other powers at play here, but the fact that you don't get a chance to do that for a while now?
Yeah, I think this is such an important series for us. I think just the Ashes in general is such a big series. It's pretty much just behind a World Cup for us, in my opinion. So I think, to be able to get the support that I think is deserved for both teams. I think we've been so successful over the last 5-6 years, and it's probably one part of our game which we've been a little bit disappointed with is not seeing as many people as we would have liked. Obviously, to have the T20 World Cup 5 years ago now, and to pretty much sell out the MCG, and then for COVID to hit, it kind of put a dampener on what Australian cricket, I guess, the path that it was going. But fingers crossed, after a pretty successful men's test series, people can kind of come and support our series as well, because we're going up against our fiercest rivals and they just went against theirs. So hopefully going forward we can see some amazing crowds come and watch us.
In England in 2023, when the men's and women's Ashes went on, it felt like we had a month Ashes cricket. There was always no day without an Ashes game. This time it's a standalone Ashes. Do you see a benefit otherwise of doing it either way? Are you looking forward to it being a standalone Ashes in the summer?
I think there's pros and cons for both, to be honest. It was such a great feeling playing in England last year. We had some amazing crowds over there, and I think they were just supporting England cricket as a whole. And then to have both Ashes campaigns going at once was pretty cool to be over there playing at the same time as our Australian men as well. So that was probably the pro, and they did it really well. They marketed it really well, and there was some fantastic crowds that came through the gates. So, but I think in saying that, having a standalone and the focus solely being on our team, I think that's the major positive for us. Obviously the men have just had their limelight, and hopefully we can kind of come off the back of theirs and have a really successful summer.
Last couple for Ash.
Yourself and Tammy were the stars of the 2023 Test match. In future years, would you like to see more tests added to this Ashes series, or are you happy with how the format is with one of them?
Yeah, that's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. I think it's obviously everyone's going to have their own individual point of view on that, but I think just purely workload, it would be quite tough just with how busy our summers are. But personally, I would love to see 3, 3 and 3. It's obviously going to make the tours a lot longer. I'm not sure where you're going to fit it in that time frame, knowing that we obviously have to play overseas competitions as well. So it would be interesting to see where over the next 4 to 5 years kind of where that gets to. But I know personally I would love to play more test cricket against England. Playing the one test kind of feels like a bit of a novelty sometimes. So I guess being able to kind of fight out more of a test championship. We obviously have some really good white ball games against England and other nations around the world, but I think the way that our two teams match up, I think it would be a really cool test series to see who would come out on top for that. But I don't think that's probably going to change anytime soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ash.
Fire away when you're ready, guys.
Tammy, welcome. How's the jet lag? How are you feeling ahead of the series?
I've struggled with the jet lag a little bit actually. I was still awake at 4 a.m. this morning, but got a good few days to sort that out. But yeah, good to be over here in Australia and avoiding the snow back home.
I think this is your third Ashes tour of Australia. Does this feel like the strongest England squad that you've come down with?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think we've got so much talent in the squad now, and actually we've got kind of 18, 19 players involved, and you know each format's got a different squad. It just shows the kind of talent that's around in England at the moment, and yeah, certainly brought a very strong squad with a couple of people coming back from injury, like Freya Kemp and Danny Gibson fully fit. I think it's great to have everyone firing, fit and firing, ready to go.
What was the feeling at the end of the 2023 series with it tied 8-all and you were arguably finishing the stronger side? Did it feel like you just left the run a little bit late, or that you really left the marker on Australia?
I think both on and off the field it was just an incredible series, and to come back from pretty much having to win every single game to draw the series, I think we were really proud of ourselves. Probably not elated and feeling like we'd won anything. Obviously the trophy came back here to Australia, so I don't think you can feel like you've won something, but I think we certainly felt like we put a statement out there that we can go toe to toe with Australia and really compete, and also when our back's against the wall that we can show a lot of character and come through and really kind of play some really good cricket against the world's best. So yeah, we were pretty drained emotionally, I think, if we're honest. I think it was an incredible series, and particularly the way it captivated the British public, and we had sellout crowds throughout, and to play at places like Lords and the Oval with a sellout was just outstanding, and hopefully something we're going to see in this series as well.
Do you think the pairing of Lauren Bell and Lauren Filer, depending on how often they play together, do you think that could be a bit of an X factor for you, that extra bounce? Lauren Filer's got the extra pace. How exciting could that be?
Yeah, I think our attack's looking really good. The skill of Kate Cross, Nat Silver-Brunt, and then the height of those two. And Lauren Filer particularly, I think, really ready to fire out here and obviously have a bit more pace and bounce in the pitches. We saw in South Africa that, she was pretty scary. I was at short leg in the test match, and even I was thinking I need to take a step back here, and I'm not someone that ever takes a step back. So, yeah, I think it's great to see how she can go over here and really unleash her. And Lauren Bell's just developing even more and more the last few years, so I'm really excited to see how our seamers go in particular.
Besides coming off that series against South Africa, I mean, it's almost a replica of what you're going to face here. Do you feel more battle hardened than the Aussies? I mean, Ash just sort of said that they've been together for a couple of weeks and they've played a lot of white ball cricket.
I think you can never discount the Aussies in terms of how competitive they are and how ready they are for a battle, and they know what the Ashes means to them. So I think we feel really prepared. We feel South Africa was a really great test for us. Obviously they've done really well and developed a lot over the last few years, reaching a lot of World Cup finals. So they were going to be tough to play away in South Africa, and we obviously came away with 3 series wins over there. So it was a great prep for us, but we know it's always a tough challenge to come to Australia and play the Aussies.
There's obviously been a growing sentiment that I guess the rest of the pack is maybe catching up with the Aussies after some of their recent success, and obviously the T20 World Cup didn't really go to plan for either of these two teams, but especially seeing how Australia went, does that give you a bit of confidence as well, feeling like, okay, the rest of the world and particularly us, we can catch up with these teams?
I'm not sure confidence is the word. I think it's added motivation to keep pushing forward and making sure that we're getting the best out of our talent pool and ourselves, and trying to just keep increasing our kind of skill level, because nowadays you can't rest on your laurels against any team in the world. As you saw, we fell to defeat against the West Indies. South Africa came through. New Zealand actually won the tournament. So I think it's just a case of extra motivation to keep improving and keep the standard of women's cricket just going through the roof, to be honest.
I mean, obviously you got that double time at Trent Bridge, but that was a 5-day test, and not really affect the way you scored. But did it change the mindset at all, batting-wise, when you've got one less day to try and achieve the result in the test match? And I guess by the time it gets to that point, there may be one team that's happy to draw, one team that's not. But yeah, just a different mindset there.
Yeah, I think this test match is going to be a really unique challenge, actually. Obviously, from ball one team knows going in with a draw is probably enough, and the other team's got to do everything to push for a victory, and I think that could create a really interesting narrative. I think the key with test match cricket, from what I've found, and I haven't played much, but I've only played in one victory, so I think getting 20 wickets is the key, actually. I think nowadays the way we play with our batting, we'll score kind of quick enough, but actually it's how are you going to maybe create 20 opportunities to take wickets, and that's the key to winning test match cricket. I think that the hard thing is knowing you've got to push for those wickets, but actually not trying too hard and then just allowing the game to go away. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but I don't think the scoring rates will be an issue, anything like they were in 2017.
And Ash made the point before we played earlier about how she'd love to see it go 3-3-3 and have 3 test matches. You obviously still love Test cricket, but like, is that something you'd like to see?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with Ash. I think I'd love to see 3-3-3. I think the best thing about the Ashes is the narrative, the rivalry, how it builds over time, and actually, you know, you saw in the India-Australia men's Test series that the narratives build in a 5-match series, and even in a 3-match series, the kind of things with Bumrah always getting the same people out or things like that. And you know, as an opening batter, that's part of why you love the game, is that battle of trying to maybe get one up on an opening bowler. And I think it builds even more in Test cricket, and that's why I love getting the whites on. And yeah, I'd love to see more of it.
If you can win this series, what would it mean to this team?
Oh, I think it'd be absolutely massive. I think, you know, we've been there or thereabouts for quite a few years in World Cups and in Ashes, but we haven't actually got our hands on anything for a little while now. So it's certainly something we've got our hopes on, and yeah, something I think that, you know, a few of us are still around from 2017 World Cup, but actually could be a massive highlight. I think particularly coming to Australia and trying to take on the Aussies is one of the hardest things you can do in men's or women's cricket. So yeah, if we could come out on top, I think it would be a career highlight for a lot of the squad.
Tammy, with the double-decker bus behind you and a bit of light rain, is England feeling quite at home?
Well, actually, I was saying I've had more games rained off in Sydney in my career than most of the time in England. So yeah, I am feeling pretty at home, to be honest. It's great to see that you're making us feel welcome. Apparently there's some black cabs around the corner as well. So, but no, I think hopefully the weather will change and we'll get a lot of cricket in. But yeah, I think a lot of us have played a lot in Australia now and absolutely love touring here. It's a great country to come to, and we all love our coffee. So feeling right at home and feeling very welcome. Thank you.
Tammy, does England have its plans in place for Annabelle Sutherland? She seems to be unstoppable at the moment.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to play with Souther when she was at the Welsh Fire with us, and yeah, she's a real talent and obviously in red hot form. But I think for us, well, firstly, I'm not a bowler, so I don't get allowed in the bowling meetings, so you'll have to ask Lauren another time. But we'll certainly have plans. We'll have plans for everyone. We know they've got match finners the whole way down the order, so we're going to have plans, but more importantly, we're going to have to execute and adapt to conditions. And yeah, we know that the batters are going to just keep coming at us, but yeah, we're certainly ready to have a good go.
The last one, if there's any more, if not, we'll wrap up.
No worries, thanks guys.
Thanks, Tammy.
Cheers.
Thank you.